Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Parkside Cabin Rentals. If you're wanting to take advantage of just a terrific summer, and we're now at the halfway point, if you want to take advantage of a great summer and warm weather, get to the mountains where you still get those cool mountain breezes, the best way to do it is get to the Smoky Mountains, and the best place to stay, Parkside Cabin Rentals. You can find all their different floor plans, and they have dozens and dozens and dozens of cabins all over Sevier County and the Smokies. And wherever you rent with Parkside Cabin Rentals, you're going to get free parking when you go into downtown Gatlinburg. ParksideCabinRentals.com. The Ogle family's been doing this literally since the Great Smoky Mountains became a national park. That's a long time, folks. Parkside Cabin Rentals. All right, let's talk team building very quickly. I want to get, some of this is gut feeling, some of this is just momentum, perception, but I want to know who's got the right mojo, the good juju at the moment. In terms of what's going on with the program, because you got to have something to sell, sort of that momentum, positive stuff going on. You're recruiting last class, previous class, this class, transfer portal. Take it all into account. The staff and the reputation the staff has, closers, that kind of thing, type kids they're in on. We know Georgia's up here in the East. We know Vanderbilt's at the bottom of the East. Where's Tennessee? Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Thoughts, gentlemen? Anyone? Ryan, you can start. Anyone else can go?
I would lean second, maybe third. I think they're up there for sure. I think Florida's the hard one for me to peg because they are having some issues right now, but they still have.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, they still have a historical pull, I think, that puts them up there. One thing that's noteworthy: Kentucky struggling, coming off a good season, not really having a great year in recruiting so far. They're, again, I mentioned Christian Conyer earlier. They are desperate to win that one because they've had so many losses and seeing teams around them do well. So Kentucky not off to a great start. South Carolina doing a little better than expected, but I still wouldn't put them up there with Tennessee. So I would put them maybe second, but it just depends on where you put Florida.
That's kind of where you put South Carolina since Shane Beamer's arrived there. On the field, a little better than expected.
Yeah.
Bowl game, a little better than expected.
Transfer
portal, a little better than expected. Okay. Do you guys agree that Tennessee would be second or third behind Georgia? And or would you put them second ahead of? You brought it up. Mm-hmm. Florida. Billy Napier had to send out an open letter. He hasn't coached a game yet. He sends an open letter out to fans trying to calm the masses, it seems. They're freaking out that their collectives aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. They aren't having a great recruiting class by their goals, standards. Is Tennessee ahead of Florida right now? I mean, do you look at Florida and think, they're in trouble? Or do you look at it and say, they're Florida, they'll be fine? Where are you? Where's Tennessee? They rank ahead of Florida right now in the East. Josh and Vince.
Yeah, in terms of an early July conversation, I would say Florida is behind Tennessee. Tennessee has Nico in the class. Florida just got caught up in this Jaden Rashada NIL issue, which then brings up both of their collectives. And then you look at the rankings, they're way back from where Tennessee is. Now, it is July, so they'll play a game against one another on the field. And if Florida comes up to Knoxville, then we can't say that Tennessee's ahead of Florida. But right now, Tennessee knows what it has at quarterback on the field. Florida does not. In recruiting, Tennessee is ahead of Florida. Florida is not. And you do have some off-field questions, which Tennessee does not.
Well, let me change the question just a tad for you. Just looking long-term, who do you feel is in the – we know Kirby Smart and his staff in Georgia, where they are right now. That year, that's catbird seat. Do you feel secure that Tennessee is going to be that second-best team coming out of this in terms of being able – I trust Josh Heupel and this staff to put these people together with this – or do you think, well, Florida's going to catch up, they'll figure it out? Or are you saying South Carolina's better? Where are you?
Well, I think Florida will catch up at some point. I'm not sure if it's while Billy Napier is there. So if we're talking long term, eventually Florida will figure it out and bring it back. But short term, to me, definitely Tennessee is ahead of Florida. I would pick them ahead of them in the standings in terms of all the momentum. They're going to be talked about pretty positively at media days, whereas Florida is going to have a lot more questions that they're going to have to answer. So I would put Tennessee second. Long term, Florida will come back. Just that might be a while, I think.
30 seconds, Ryan. In recruiting circles, are people laughing at the overreaction with Florida, or are people literally saying, ooh, this might not work?
I think it's a little bit of both, but what I would say on Florida is I feel like we've had this discussion on them about 5 times in the past decade. I feel like a lot of times going into the summer they are struggling in recruiting. They eventually get their share of guys and they end up at the top 15. I think that's kind of what they'll probably do this year. Maybe we'll see if it's top 15, but they're still in the mix for a lot of highly ranked guys. They're going to get their share. It's just they don't always do as well as they think they should.
Well, and the other thing, like Tennessee, if they wind up top 15 every year, they're not winning championships by finishing top 15 every year. I mean, I continue to say, and they've churned through just as many head coaches as Tennessee has in the last, 15 years? I think they're on their 5th. That is a program that it has this golden aura around it that everyone's, oh, it's perfect and peachy and wonderful. It's like, but if you look at it, it's like, no, there's a dark spot on this peach.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know. We'll see. They'll watch him win a national championship down there this first year, but that is not Georgia. I mean, that is not Florida. It's not Alabama. It's not Georgia. It's not Ohio State. It's not Clemson. People put Florida still up there in that upper echelon, and maybe Napier gets them there. But that's not what they've been these last 10 years, not since Urban Meyer left.
This is why I think the door is open for Tennessee this year. You got a senior quarterback, senior receiver. Got to take advantage while Florida is down and try to elevate yourself above Florida while they figure things out.
Very good. Okay, when we come back, at least Tennessee won't have to elevate itself over USC and UCLA. They're going to the Big Ten. Makes perfect sense. You know, that Minneapolis, Lincoln, Los Angeles. Great neighborly rivals there. Was that a good response to the SEC's big move? We'll discuss that, and then we'll look at what all this means for Tennessee a little later in the show. Someone has come out with their own ranking of college football brands. They've done it in an interesting way, or else I wouldn't share it. And we'll break that down for you because I thought it was interesting. Come on back on the Sports Source.